welcome to Let's Thrive and Shine Beyond Belief, the podcast that's targeting leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs that may potentially be moving towards burnout and not listening to the signs, or perhaps they've got that dreaded little thing whispering in their ear and saying, I'm not enough, and they've got that self-doubt, or potentially that little imposter, that mask that's going up every now and again. And the reason why we do this show is because there are so many of the listeners and so many people that I interview on here that have gone through that journey, have experienced that pain, and now they want to help others to be able to escape from it, because they want to be able to stop them from doing the same, because we're all limitless and we should all be able to thrive and shine beyond belief. And that's why I've got the lovely Karen on my show today, and she's got a fantastic journey that she's sharing with us, and she has an incredible business, and I'll let her talk about more about that in detail. But ultimately, she is a woman to my own heart. It's all about 10xing rather than 2xing. So you can find out more about that in a moment. So Karen, introduce yourself. Why do you do what you do?
Oh, Keely. Well, thank you for inviting me. Well, I have been a business coach for about 9 years now, and that was after running my own businesses and almost getting burnt out to the point where I had to have my heart monitored. I was just so stressed out, and that was quite a long time ago. But I think at that point, I decided to make things as simple as possible. Anyway, by then, COVID came along, and I think that was a big turning point for a lot of people, actually, wasn't it? And for me, as a business coach, I saw all these businesses go online. And being a coach, surrounded by coaches, you just saw so many coaches. But then I noticed something, that they were all pretty much doing the same thing, in that they were saying the same thing, going for the same audience, being taught to do the same thing, which we all are as business owners, actually, to be fair. Get more clients, get more clients, get more clients. And if you're a coach, do your one-to-one, but then you can move to a group coaching formula. But I realized also that they were being kept quite small, because the coaches out there teaching the coaches and making a lot of money out of it. They were making loads of money, but they were saying to people, oh, have you group programs, sell it for 3K, 5K. Now, certain things had happened to me that year, and that I had been reached out to by certain people. And I thought, hang on a minute, we're always told to get more and more clients, and it's exhausting. And we know that group coaching, launching, is exhausting. People seem to hate it and all that. So I thought, hang on a minute, what people are not doing here is really elevating everything so they can work with fewer clients who pay them so much more. Like you said, the 10x. So that's where it all started, really.
Yeah. And how has it changed your life doing this approach?
Well, I don't search for more and more and more clients. I just take on 2 or 3 clients a month now, one-to-one. I was thinking about running a group coaching program, and I've tried different ways, because I have put this great course together. And in fact, I've just recently done it where I was just jumping on, talking through each module every other week and sending them the recording. No workbooks, no complications, so keeping things simple. But actually, I've decided to make it even simpler for me, in that course is now literally downloadable. I don't have to do anything. People can go to it, download it, work through it on their own. And they've actually got enough there to actually see what needs doing. So that's sort of what's worked for me. But I'm now focusing on those clients who go, yeah, I just want to have clients who can afford me. I want to put my prices up. I don't want to work with loads of clients. I just want a few really brilliant clients. And for me, the win-win on this is, obviously, it sounds so obvious when you think about it. If you work with fewer people, you get your time back. And if you get your time back, you get your energy back, and your income goes up. So I would just love more people to be doing this. I really would.
And the interesting thing that you say there as well is, there's so many that are teaching the methodology of doing, a one-to-many, school of learning, and then then going for the high ticket clients. But then, the process of trying to actually get the one-to-many to actually sign up on that on a regular basis, because that's the thing, is that you constantly got to be building that pipeline of the one-to-many, because when it's a one-to-many, it's only going to be sort of like a short window that they're going to be doing that activity. And then you're then having to build the pipeline for the next one, the next one, and the next one. Whereas as you turn around and say, when you work with, say, high ticket clients, it's usually on an extended period of time, usually, not in all cases, depending on what it is that you're trying to resolve, because some things they do want to resolve quickly, but they're willing to pay the money to actually resolve it quickly. But the other side of that as well, it means that they tend to come back to you again because you've built that rapport and that relationship with them, and they will recommend you to other people.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that. It's about relationships.
Yeah.
It really is. So rather than, I have the analogy, and you may have heard of it, before. Most people are like a tugboat. They go out and they're pulling people towards them. They want to go out, find clients, come and have what I've got. I've got this thing. And I say, look, if you've got the experience, you've got the expertise, get the results for your clients, then step up and be that lighthouse. Stand up there going, this is me. I'm flipping amazing at this. This is what I've got. And if I'm the person for you, then come to me.
Yeah.
And it's just so different.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that, because there's quite often you hear it, I hear it, people see sales as an icky thing, and it shouldn't be an icky thing. It should be a relationship where you're serving people, and because they're coming towards you, it becomes a beautiful relationship. And they're actually, I thought I turned off every single alarm. so it should be a beautiful relationship, not that sort of feeling that, oh, I've got to ask someone, and that fear of people saying no, and that fear that that if I go and ask them, as soon as it gets to the sales point, they don't ask the question. Is that, well, if you don't ask the question, they're not going to buy off of you. So you've got to get to that point of building the rapport beforehand, so they're coming towards you. And then, it's like a hot sell rather than a cold sell, where you're trying to sort of deep into fishing in a sea rather than into a small pond.
Yeah. I mean, and sales is a whole new, a whole different subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gosh, you could do another podcast episode on that one.
Yeah.
But yes, it's not about going out and also going out and I will work with anybody. This is my thing and I've got to get all the clients in. The business model is all about you. This is what I say to my clients. For once now, it's about how you want your business to look.
Yeah.
It's who you want to work with.
Yeah.
It's what you want your offer to be. I think there's far too many people out there going, oh, what do people need? Oh, I'll put this in and I'll do that. And I'll throw in all these bonuses and, all that sort of thing. And no, it's about you. What do you want your business and life to look like?
Yeah.
And I think that makes a massive change as well. So, we get to decide who we work with.
Yes. Well, because thing is, I mean, I don't know about your experience, that if you work with people that you don't resonate with, or they don't resonate with you, they're not going to put in the work. And you're not going to have a healthy relationship. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get anxious, and it's just going to make you, you wake up, oh God, I've got a client with so-and-so today. And I mean, why would you want to do that? I mean, many of us have left sort of corporate worlds and businesses because they don't want to be working with people they don't want to be working with.
Absolutely.
Because they have to. And now, as an entrepreneur and running your own business, you do have the luxury to turn around and say, do you know what? No, you're not serving me. And, the beauty of it is when you're serving someone that you actually is your ideal client, both of you love the experience, don't you?
Yeah, yes. But the thing is, if you're keeping your prices too low, you have to get many clients in to give you the income that you want.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can go out there and go, right, my services are now 20,000. Work with me 6 months, it's £20,000 or dollars, whatever. Then suddenly you don't need as many, but you need to put everything in place to get the people, obviously,
Yes.
who will pay 20,000 and not turn around. And this was the other thing. I think, we get so fed up of getting on these discovery calls and spending 45 minutes telling somebody about our amazing thing and pointing at their pain points and all this. And then they turn around at the end and go, oh, I don't think I can afford that.
Yeah.
Or I'm not ready for that. Or I need to go and check with my partner,
Yeah.
It's so destroying, isn't it? We've all
Yeah.
been there. We've all been there.
Yep. Yeah. And when you, as I say, if you're clear about what it is that you want to be doing and how you're helping people, people will say, yeah, I will sign up for that. But as long as you're clear about it as well. I mean, I think you know that I'm part of a speaker academy. And the first thing he does, on probably day 2, is that he will say, this is what my academy looks like. This is the actual program, and he's been clear about that with people, and then they can have those healthy conversations about it as well. And they either want to invest in it or they won't. But if you've
Yeah.
got clear why for why you want to invest in something, you blooming well do it. So,
Well, this is it, though. I mean, yes, but the thing is with this, of course, is that if you're going to be that lighthouse, then you have to stand out.
yeah.
You have to be seen as being really different
Mhm.
to everybody else out there. Because, as I said at the beginning, when we all jumped on Zoom, it's a crowded market. We're all in a crowded market
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
And so many of us think that, oh, I'm special. No, you're not. Harsh truth. There's
No.
probably hundreds, if not thousands, of other people out
Yeah.
there doing exactly what you're doing. So the challenge is then, how are you going to be seen? How are you going to be seen as the only choice
Yeah.
by the people that you want to work with? That's the big challenge, and that's what people get a bit, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you turn around and say, is that one, who is my target audience? Absolute clarity of that, because also, if you are in a room full of people and you say what it is that you do and it's not clear, then no one knows who you're talking to. So it's too general, isn't it? So the messaging is all wrong. They don't clarify, what is the problem that you're trying to resolve. And you also don't give a timeline of how long it's going to actually take to resolve. So there's no clarity. So no one knows who you're talking to, how you're going to help them, and for how long it's going to take.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're wearing the same hat and talking the same language here, Keely, aren't we? That message is so important. I mean, yes, I'm a business coach, but actually my speciality for 9 years has been marketing. I love marketing, which essentially, I mean, people go, oh, I hate marketing. And I go, look, all marketing is the gaining and keeping of clients. And if you haven't got clients or customers, you haven't got a business. So you've got to, you've got to like it and get on with it, really.
Actually, to be quite honest, we're all marketing every single day in, and that's not just in business, it's our personal lives, because we're doing it with our children, our partners, our friends, our relationships. We're marketing every single day one way or another, and that's what people don't actually appreciate. And I have to say, as someone that came out, because I was in the corporate world, and obviously I was doing program delivery director, I didn't need to do marketing. There was another department that needed to do that. I didn't know I had a creative bone in my body. So, but then when you fall out of it and suddenly you go into sort of an entrepreneurial arena, you suddenly become marketing, sales, accounts, the innovator and all those kind of things. But the thing that I've loved the most, and I'm really happy about it, is the marketing side of it. So Karen, we was talking about the fact that, in essence, in our whole lives, we're marketing all of the time, every single day. Doesn't matter what it is that we're doing, whether it's with our children, our partners, our work lives, our relationships, we're marketing all of the time, aren't we? So, when people turn around and say, oh, I don't like marketing, it's like, here's a fact, you are.
Yeah, it is. It's how you show up. And I suppose that resonates even more with me because when you're doing this, you're the personal brand. You're not sticking a logo on a business over there. You are the branding, you are the company. And it's how you show up every minute, all the time. I mean, when we were in lockdown, I didn't get around to wearing joggers, or whatever you want to call them, until about the last 6 months of the 3 years. I got dressed as normal. I always do. I always do. I'm just, yeah, it's all these people who was, working in their pajamas. Just wasn't me. Wasn't
I
me.
could never understand that because I was like, we can still see you. It's like the men had these big long beards, because I was still running a program with my company that made me redundant. Funny enough, um, oh the irony! They brought me back as a consultant. There's a thing, but whilst I was on the calls, there was a lot of them. They've got beards and they looked so unkempt, and I was like, we can actually still see you. I mean, what I used to do is when it was hot, because I mean the weather was amazing in
Mm,
2020
that's
and the
you.
year after. I
Yeah.
did more gardening in that time than I've ever done in my life.
You and half
But
the nation.
I used to I'd have like a blouse on or something like that on top and a pair of shorts on underneath. And all the while people can't actually see what's going on underneath, it doesn't matter. But as long as you're showing up looking clean and kempt
Mm,
rather than unkempt. so, um, so I mean, what I was saying, because we had a bit of an interruption, everybody.
you
Don't
did.
use Bluetooth, it just connects randomly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I was asking you a question actually. It was like, you mentioned that you reached burnout or almost reached burnout, although I would say based on what you said, I would say definitely burnout. What got you to that point in the first place?
Oh, I think like so many women, just all the ball juggling.
Mm,
I mean, the thing is with me, I've never run just one business
mm,
for a start. So I was probably running at least two businesses at the time. I can't remember. It's quite a while ago. I had two teenagers and they bring their own problems.
mm-hmm,
I had a husband with a busy job that actually took him up and down the country, and very often I could or he would like me to go with him. So, I was, yeah, on the motorway, 10 o'clock at night sort of thing. And I think, oh, and I think it just became too much.
mm-hmm,
Um, and yeah, it was just crazy. And I remember getting these heart palpitations and just feeling so stressed. And if you've had heart palpitations, it's a very
mm,
sort of feeling.
yeah,
And I knew I had to go to the doctor. And yes, they sort of monitored my heart. And I just knew I had to strip certain things out and just
mm,
stop trying to do too much. And I can still be guilty of it, not to
mm,
that point, because I have to remember and remind myself that I did want things simple. But I'm just one of those people who just take on things.
mm.
Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. And before I know it, my diary is full. I just got to say no more often.
Yes, yes, that's actually one of the biggest things I say to any of my clients is no is a sentence. And you
Yeah.
can follow it by a thank you, but we so often we don't put any personal boundaries for ourselves. And we
Mm,
say yes to everything, especially if you're someone that likes helping people and may be drawn to a people-pleasing nature. And there is a separation between being a people pleaser and someone that just likes helping people out. But
mm,
the risk is, as a people pleaser, is that you become all things to all men, and you just want to serve everybody, and you can't. And as I, especially when you talk about the way you're referring to in your business, if you're teaching others to 10x rather than 2x, I mean, effectively, you need to practice what you preach. But as an entrepreneur, because you've got such a creative mind, also you've got loads of different ideas. So you've got loads of, different sort of business opportunities that you think, oh, I could
yeah,
do that. I think that magnify effect, silver shiny thing.
I know. There's always so much, always so much. And also, you saying about saying no, we always feel as though we've got to apologize and explain, don't we? So sorry, I can't do that because it's like, no, hang on. I don't need to explain why I can't do that. But I think also these days we're bombarded with so much information. There's so much we can be doing. And as I say, I can be as guilty of that. I mean, right before this, I was listening, I was on a webinar about opportunities in Saudi. Now, obviously, that fits into my business in a way because it's about how do you find wealthy clients. My brain already is thinking, oh, maybe I could do this in Saudi, maybe I could do that, maybe I should approach this person. I think there's just so much coming at us these days. We do have to put in those as you say, those boundaries, even if they're sort of mental boundaries of, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even things like, WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, there's, we've got so many of them. And yes, there's, some of them, the information that you're getting from is just really, really powerful use for information, but you still have to have that off button. I have my authentication switched off, and I do sometimes say, look, sorry, I've been out of but I need to be kind. I need to practice what I'm teaching. There's no point in me teaching other people to do it if I'm not going to practice it myself. So, but it is sometimes hard. It's like, oh, and then there's FOMO that comes in as well, because people, oh, maybe you might missing out on something. So you can't do everything though, can you? So
no, so much going on.
So based on your experience, where
Mm.
you are now, I mean, have you got sort of 3 tips that you'd perhaps give to the listeners that you would recommend to them that could help them at the moment?
Well, they are very much sort of my business based, really, and I'm sure you've had amazing tips from other people. But yes, I thought one of the thing is, if, as I said, we're in a very crowded market. So first of all, I would say be known for something. Be that person who does that particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do everything and you can't help everybody, but what are you going to be known for?
Mm-hmm.
And be best in the world at, why not? The second one was, and it's the same sort of thing really about stand out. If you're thinking, well, how am I going to do that? I would say find an aspect of you and ramp it up. Maybe you love, I don't know, nice sparkly earrings or something. Make sure every time you're on screen, the big sparkly earrings, be known for that, so stand out in some way. Or maybe you're quite humorous, so ramp up the humor,
Yeah.
be crazy. Um, and the third one was, I would say, remind yourself how capable you are, because I get so many people sort of saying, oh, I couldn't possibly work with richer people. I couldn't do that. Why would they pay me that? All that sort of thing. And it's like, look, as I said, if you've got particular expertise, you've got the experience in that,
Mm-hmm.
and you get results for your clients, you can do that. Never forget how amazing you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is with that as well, is that it doesn't matter how high people get up in the world in their, in their strength, whether you're the richest person in the world or the CEOs or whatever, they all have like limiting beliefs. They all have self-doubt. They all have this fear of something, or an area where they've got, they're lacking expertise in or something like
Yeah.
that. They're people,
Yes,
people, they forget that they're still human beings and they still
absolutely.
have problems. They're not, don't just
Yeah.
because they become successful in their arena doesn't mean to say they don't have problems elsewhere. You know,
Yep.
cut yourself some slack. So,
Yeah.
and in fact, someone said, oh, so you're okay that you would actually you know charge, I don't know whether it's a cleaner or a shop assistant, but you wouldn't charge someone in the top of a business. So what difference? They're all human beings, doesn't matter where they start in the world.
Yeah.
We all cut us, we bleed exactly the same. So,
Yes, yes. And I mean, all the ones that I've ever met are lovely, lovely people, and you get lovely people and horrible people anywhere, that doesn't, and yes, they all have challenges and they need you.
mm,
Just, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
All
So
in it together.
thank you. So one other question. If you was to recommend a book or an audio or a podcast right now, what would it be and why?
Oh, you've thrown that one at me, but I suppose it's linked to exactly what I was saying in the last bit about, you are capable and the limiting beliefs people have. So I think one of them, just plucking it out of the air, it's a very popular book, and that would be The Big Leap. Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap. It's a great book,
Yeah.
and I think it's well known. I think it's going to become a classic, and rightly so. And it's worth a second and even a third read, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's the mistake I often hear with people is that they read a book once And you should read it about 4 times when it comes to a learning book, something that's going to give you something inspirational. Because the first time you read it, you're like, oh, that's really good. And then the second time, you might pick out some more things that would come from it. And then the third bit is starting to embed itself. Fourth time, you're really starting to implement it. Whereas what happens is that people move from book to book to book, or audio to audio, and they're not getting a chance to absorb quality information that's being shared with them, and taking advantage of that, you know, by reading these empowering books. I mean, there's so many, but one at a time, embed it in. And I've actually been a bit cheeky. I'm going to throw in one more quick question. So,
oh, you are putting me on the spot. Go on.
yeah. So, if you was going to go back to your 20-year-old self, what would you say to her?
Oh, my usual answer to that one is to focus on one thing at a time. And it probably still rings true. And that because, as I said, I'm one of those people who goes, yes, I can do this, yes, I can do that, you know. If you just focus on one thing, you know, whether it's your business, your life, you know, one client, one problem, one solution, one platform,
Yeah.
you'll get there so much quicker.
Yeah. That focusing, get it done, and then you can move to another thing. But also, you know, even with your family and your friends, as you say, if you're focusing on them, then they actually feel that as well, because people are so distracted by multiple things, they're not being present with the person they're with. I mean, how many times you see people sitting in pubs or clubs and everything like that, and they're not actually enjoying the moment with the people they're with. They're sharing the moment with someone they're not with. And it's just like, it's crazy, you know. Enjoy it, listen to the music, you know, watch it, you know, whatever it is, enjoy it, focus. So
Definitely, it's crazy, so yeah, focus.
all right, well, I'll let you off now. It seems I keep throwing little extra ones on there. So first of all, I would love to say thank you, Karen, for coming on to this show and sharing your knowledge, your gift to everybody, and how they can effectively 10x themselves, but also to create more financial and personal freedom at the same time, while safeguarding their health. And to me, health is wealth, because without health, wealth means nothing. So and focus on those as well, everybody. And, you know, anybody that's listening to this show, if you think that someone would benefit from it, and listen to Karen's story, her journey, and how she helps others, then please share it with somebody else. And, you know, if you've really enjoyed it yourself, hit the subscribe button as well, and then share it to somebody else in your community, because we should all be able to thrive and shine beyond belief, because we're all limitless. Thank you. And thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Keely.